Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
What is going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Lillie Holmes. Today, we have got some interesting topics for you, starting with a lesser-known singer and someone who fell from fame and did not get to fame that much either, Austin Mahone. We're also going to talk about the best of Demi Lovato, one of the best vocal singers of a generation. Going to talk about feel-good songs. And also, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about when I talk about this series, Now That's What I Call Music. We're going to talk about their current volume. I'm sure everyone is feeling a little more comfortable as we slowly start to come out of the pandemic, and maybe you're feeling a little more confident and you're getting ready to do some stuff you haven't done in a while. I know I am. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable, going out to the stores and, planning some summer trips. So things are definitely looking up and it feels great. Let's talk about Austin Mahone. For those of you who do not know who he is and are not familiar, he's a 25-year-old singer and songwriter. He was set to become the next Justin Bieber. That went downhill, and that is no hate to him whatsoever. I like his voice, and I think he's produced some pretty good music, but he fell short 100%, unfortunately. He started out on YouTube similar to Justin Bieber. That's why he was said to be the next Justin Bieber, and he also looked up to him. He started making, YouTube videos around 2010. He would post covers to pop songs, and he, again, he was hoping to get discovered the same way Justin did and, have the same sort of path and fame. It unfortunately didn't end up that way. It started out, I would say, decently well. He signed with Republic Records in 2012, which is a pretty big record label. They've produced a lot of great music and a lot of great stars. He had his first single come out in 2012. It was independently released. It was the song 1111. It is very, very cheesy for sure. Austin Mahone, most of his songs are cheesy 100%, but for the market he was appealing to, you could say younger teens, tweens, people like that, it definitely was going in the right direction, but it still unfortunately fell a little short in the end. I think Austin Mahone had a good career ahead of him. Again, I believe he started out pretty strong, signing with Republic Records, but we'll get into why he kind of fell off course. His second single was Say Something. That was the first song I had ever heard by him. I want to say I heard it in 2012 or 2013. One of my friends were talking about him, and I looked into his music. As I mentioned before, I've always been someone who really looks into music and discovers new music, and I heard it and I was like, wow, I really like this song. And he only had that and the song 1111 out at the time. So I was listening to them very frequently, and I was, very, very much awaiting new music from him. One of the ways that Austin Mahone had a bright future ahead of him is his What About Love music video won MTV's Artist to Watch award at the MTV VMAs one year. That's a great thing. I mean, the VMAs is one of the most popular music award shows, in the music industry. I think they say a lot about, an artist and their talent when they win one, almost more than the Grammys at this point, in my opinion. But that's awesome, and I think that's a great path to start out at. He opened for Taylor Swift on her Red Tour. I mean, again, I think he started out very well, but things just kind of didn't continue to do well. He headlined MTV's Artist to Watch tour in 2014, I believe it was. And, he got a decent following, I should say. I mean, he started getting out there. I believe he had a music single. I think it was Yeah with Pitbull. And yes, I just said Yeah, MMM space YEAH. That was the song. Not a fan of it, but I believe it had radio airplay. So he was getting out there, getting fans and getting the word out about him, but still wasn't enough. I saw him in 2012 at 93.3 FLZ's Jingle Ball. He, I believe, was one of the first acts, and I mean that night we saw Austin Mahone was there, Sean Kingston, Kesha, Justin Bieber was the headliner. I mean, it was a big show, and it was, 93.3 FLZ with iHeartRadio. It's a very, very big station. So, I mean, that again, great start he had going on, and I remember seeing him, and I was really excited to see him. He didn't have many songs out at the time, but it was still awesome. I believe I just turned 13. I was very much in my fangirl phase, had a huge crush, and was so excited. And I enjoyed it. I loved him. I was so excited to see what else he could do. He became very, very big in Japan. He released a Japan-only EP called Extended Play. And again, it was only in Japan, and people loved it there. He's always been very big in Japan. He did multiple tours there, I believe. And they really, really just loved his music. So he had a lot of fame there, just not as much in other countries. Republic Records ended up dropping him due to how not good, his sales were. He released a EP called The Secret in 2014. Now, it debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 charts, but unfortunately, it only sold 100,000 copies in 6 months, and due to that poor selling, the label dropped him. And don't get me wrong, 100,000 copies is a lot of copies for sure, but it wasn't really enough for what the label wanted to see. Multiple of his songs before this EP were not getting up to where the label wanted to see him. I don't exactly know who to blame for that is, because he has a good voice for sure. His songs, some of them are really good, and some of them are too, you feel like they're being aimed at a very specific audience. And don't get me wrong, it's fine to aim at a specific audience. I just feel like it was really putting all your eggs in one basket, I should say, and it just didn't benefit him really at all. He took to Twitter in 2016 to say that labels were taking advantage of him when going back and forth with Kanye West and making, insinuations about stuff like that. So I take it as, when he got dropped, it wasn't exactly the worst thing for him, because it sounded like he wasn't happy with how the label was treating him or his music. In 2016, he signed with Cash Money Records, but also bought the masters back from them in 2016. So that was a very short-lived contract, and I don't exactly think him falling from fame is his fault. I think it was poor poor management, in my opinion. Because, again, he has a good voice. It's just a lot of his songs, I believe, weren't really representative of his talent. I mean, he really is almost a replica of, younger Justin Bieber. And I don't know if maybe people were, had already seen Justin and they're like, yeah, we don't need a second one, or if he just maybe wasn't being marketed properly. So, I mean, it sucks because he has a lot of talent and he's still making music to this day. Most of it is not unreleased, independent stuff. So, as we've talked about before, independent artists often struggle with making money and getting the right kind of marketing out there, because so many of the record labels are so monopolized at this point. They control a decent amount of everything. So not really having, a label behind you can hurt you, but not always. I would like to see more independent artists flourish, or I would like to see more independence with contracts with labels, one of the two. I don't know which one is better, but I'd like to see artists not be controlled as much as it's talked about when it comes to record labels and contracts and masters and everything like that. Austin Mahone, again, I was a pretty big fan of him, and I'd say I fell off being a fan in maybe 2014, 2015. His album, The Secret, not his EP, The Secret, that was kind of halfway for me, where I was like, I liked some of the songs on there, but some of the other ones I was like, these aren't the best. And I believe after that one in because that came out in 2014, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to kind of give you a break for now. So I didn't really keep up with much of his music. I mean, I saw him, he was hanging out with lots of other celebrities and he was doing other kind of work still. So I was like, oh, good for him. And I didn't keep up with him. And I was a little, disappointed. I think it was in 2016 or 17. I saw something about him and, people were almost calling him a has-been, never was. I'm like, oh, that's kind of harsh. Because, again, he had a great thing going, but unfortunately it just didn't get to where it needed to be. But I still think he has a lot of talent. I like multiple of the songs. I mean, I just think maybe wrong time for him is, I guess, kind of where I'm going with that. I have a few list of songs here. I'll let you guys know what my favorite ones by him are. The ones I have on this list here are basically the only ones I really know by him. And it's a decent list, don't get me wrong. But again, I'm not really up to date with any of his music past 2014. I've listened to it, but it's just, I didn't give it a chance, if that makes sense. First song we got on the list here is his first independent single. And for single, 1111. If you haven't heard the song, it's about, everyone knows that it's time 1111 is supposed to be superstitious. You make a wish, the wish comes true. It's kind of like that very cheesy song, talking about make a wish, loved one, stuff like that. Next one on the list here is Say You're Just a Friend featuring Flo Rida. I think this song had a lot of potential, having Flo Rida in it. Definitely a good song for the radio. And I think it was a good start, when he signed with Republic Records to really get him out there. I really like it. It's kind of just a song about, you keep saying you're just a friend, but you're flirting with me, kind of stuff like that. Very cheesy and stuff, but I like it. Next one is Say Something. That was his second single as an artist. Another cheesy love song. Are we surprised? No. Don't get me wrong, love cheesy love songs. We've talked about it before. This one is just kind of about, hey, if you like me, say something. Like, don't just keep, leading me on, or if you, just say, if you like me or if you don't like me, so I don't keep getting confused. That kind of stuff. Next one on the list here is my favorite one out of every single one of his songs that I know. It is Benga. I sound weird saying that, but that's my favorite one. This one is another kind of love song, but it's a little more mature, I think, almost. One of my favorite lines is, "I'll be your Brad Pitt and you can be my Angelina." That doesn't age well now considering they've broken up, but at the time it was good. But it's not the most mature song ever, but compared to some of his other songs, I think it was a big leap in the right direction as he was growing up, and he could show that his music and lyrical choices was growing as well. I don't know if this hit the radios at all, but I really liked it. I think it would have done well on the radio, especially in the summer. I get huge summer vibes from the song. Next one on the list here is Next to You. This was off his Secret EP. Another love song talking about next to you, kind of all I need. It's amazing, love you, that kind of stuff. I think one of the issues with Austin Mahone, again, as I mentioned before, they did put all their eggs in one basket with the audience they were going for. As far as I know, almost every single one of his songs are love songs of some kind. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having love songs. There really isn't. But I feel like at a certain point, you don't have a chance of gaining new fans. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm no critic or expert when it comes to marketing and fans and stuff like that. It's just, kind of what I've observed over the year. If you don't change things up as you grow and your fans are growing, then I think it's a little harder to keep a fan base. People like Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez. It's a huge thing to show their growth as they've gotten older. I think everyone can agree if you listen to Justin Bieber's Baby, one of his first bigger songs in the industry compared to maybe his latest album, there's a lot of change, not only voice, but the lyrical aspect of it as well. Same thing with Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, all of those bigger singers, Ariana Grande, every single one of them. So for him not to have too much growth, even in the short time that he was making music, or the music that he was making with the label, I think that really did hinder his success. I do like his voice. I listened to one of his newer songs, and it was okay. Dirty Work. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think it had potential. I think, unfortunately, he may not have the resources that he needs to make music to get out to the masses of the people now that people will like. So I hope maybe in the future he'll sign with a bigger label and he'll be given the opportunity that he deserves, because he is very talented, and I think he could very well be the next Justin Bieber. There is still time. So go check Austin Mahone out. He's a good artist and he's very talented. Maybe go check out some of his earlier music compared to his newer music and see what you like more. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the best of Demi Lovato. And also later on, we're going to talk about Now That's What I Call Music. It's making me feel old when I'm looking at the volume number they're on. We'll be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Okay, everybody, let's switch gears to the best of Demi Lovato. I'm sure everybody has heard of Demi Lovato at least once, whether it be about her music, her acting, or the many, many stories that go around about her personal life and, the hard stuff she's been going through over the past few years with addiction. I grew up watching Demi Lovato on Disney Channel, so just a nostalgia thing, I'm always going to love her. She's one of my favorite singers, one of my favorite actresses, and also a huge role model for me. She started out on Barney back in 2002, and she was on it until 2004. That's where she started her acting, and I guess you could say some singing too. For people who have seen Barney, which I'm sure a lot of you have, there is some singing on there as well, but most of it was acting then for her. Demi Lovato's full name is, not full name, but full first name is Demetria Lovato. I didn't know that. I've heard the name Demetria, but I've never met anyone named Demetria. She is a singer, a songwriter, and an actress, and she does all of them phenomenally. I can't pronounce words. I don't know if you guys have realized at this point. I have a really hard time just talking sometimes. Anyways, but I really love her. She's just so awesome. She sings pop rock, R&B, soul. She's had quite the career in her life, and it just never really stops. She just keeps going and going, even though she does take breaks, and she keeps releasing such great things. And as she's gotten old, she releases stuff with so much meaning and stuff that really, I think, is helping a lot of people. I think her biggest, break would probably be Camp Rock 1 and 2. I believe it was 2008 and 2009. For those of you who haven't seen Camp Rock, they are similar to High School Musical, Disney movies that are musicals as well. She was the main character where she acted and she sang. And again, I think that was really her big break. After the first one, she released it was more of a pop rock album, and she really kind of getting her music career started. And she also had a show, Sunny with a Chance, where that was mostly acting, but she sang a little bit as well on that one. She has had 7 studio albums released from 2008 to 2021. Her most recent one being Dancing with the Devil. I've listened to a few tracks off it. I'm definitely a fan. I like it, and it's really another person who I mentioned before has shown a lot of growth and maturity. Demi Lovato has stated that many artists have influenced her personal life and her, life as an artist when it comes to music. Some of those people being Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Kelly Clarkson, along with many other people. They influenced her sounds and what guided her to want to sing in certain ways about certain topics. She has been, told by many critics that she has such a wide range when it comes to music. And she is, I believe, considered a soprano. And she has, I believe it's 4 different vocal ranges. I am not an expert when it comes to that stuff at all. But a lot of critics have said she is so talented and her range is phenomenal. There was even one critic that said she has a lot more range than the Jonas Brothers because she was performed with the Jonas Brothers on tour a few times when she was dating one of them, and she did the Camp Rocks with them as well. So she worked with them a decent amount. And a lot of critics and people working with them is saying she has a lot more range. By the way, that's not knock on the Jonas Brothers by any means. Everyone's different. Jonas Brothers are all very talented. I love the Jonas Brothers, and I always have. They were some of my first crushes growing up, so I will always love them. I went to their reunion concert back in 2019. Anyways, Demi Lovato has definitely been a huge, you could say, had a huge influence in the music industry, even though some people hate on her for, she struggled a lot, and she's been very open about her struggles. She has won a lot of awards, and she is it's such a popular household name. She has a VMA. She's won 5 People's Choice Awards. She has won a Billboard Women in Music Award, which is awesome because she is such a big feminist and does a lot of philanthropy work for, feminism and advocates for women's rights and those kind of stuff. So I can only imagine how great that was and how good that made her feel to win something like that. She's broken a Guinness World Record book. We've talked about that before. I always forget that that is even a thing in music, but I'm learning it's a lot more common than I ever thought it would be. She has 14 Teen Choice Awards, 2 Grammy nominations, and 4 Billboard Music Award nominations. I am surprised she has not won more awards, to be honest. Don't get me wrong. She has won a lot and she has accomplished so much. I'm just surprised she hasn't won more because, again, I really think she defines a generation when it comes to music. Like I mentioned, since she had a overdose back in 2018, there has been mainly just a lot of talk about that aspect of her life and her personal stuff rather than her talents. And she's been very open about her personal life, and she wants to use it as a platform to raise awareness and to help other people get help with the issues and addiction and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like people are almost forgetting that she's not just someone with an addiction, you know. She was a child actress and a very talented singer and a huge, you know, human rights advocate too. She was a huge advocate for Joe Biden's 2020 campaign. She spoke up a lot and she was huge with the election, you know, to help young voters get out there and make their vote count. So she does, you know, she has so much more going on, and I feel like a lot of people have almost forgotten about her music before she released this newer album. And even still, I think she's kind of getting the brunt of people being like, why do we even care about her anymore? She's almost a has-been. And, you know, she's been starting some, I shouldn't say starting, but she's been speaking out about stuff online, you know, about things that she doesn't think are okay and thinks need to be changed and stuff like that. And people are, you know, more concerned with that than her talents. And don't get me wrong, if someone's a bad person and doing bad things, then, you know, it's okay to focus on that. And I'm not saying Demi Lovato is a bad person doing bad things. I'm just saying, for example, but I think a lot of people are forgetting about her music and her talent as of late. I grew up listening to, you know, all of her music, and I still do. And she actually has a mini docuseries out on YouTube right now. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but it's more about her personal life and everything that's happened in the past 3 years, her recovery and stuff like that. And she also kind of goes into detail about her touring and things like that. So I want to finish it. It's really, really interesting. I've only heard a few songs off her new album, Dancing with the Devil, but what I have heard, it is very, very raw, and she's not holding back about anything. She, again, raises so much awareness, especially for mental health, and she also is very vocal about anti-bullying. She said she was bullied a lot when she was younger, and because of that, she wants to make sure, you know, other people don't get bullied. And by the way, no one should ever be bullied. No one should get bullied. No one deserves it. So that's where it comes in, that she is speaking up for a lot of great things, and she is just a good person, and another reason she is one of my role models. I have a list of songs here about, you know, my favorite ones by her out of her 7 studio albums. You know, it is hard to narrow down what the best ones are, but I did the best I could nonetheless. I'm going to start out with I think this is my favorite one right here. It is called I Love Me. It came out in, I want to say, 2019. It is a song about loving yourself, and that's something she's also been very vocal about, you know, how she's always had body issues and struggled with eating disorders and stuff like that. And I think it's a great thing for someone with her platform to speak out about when there's so many false images about social media out there these days that really can misconstrue ideas about what is real and what is fake for younger people who are very impressionable. And that's not a knock on younger people at all. It's just younger people are impressionable. I was very impressionable when I was younger, and even at 21 years old, I would still call myself decently impressionable as well. So I think it's awesome that she, made a song to really kind of speak out and just kind of be vocal about her struggles. One of the lines is, "It is guilty about everything that I eat." That is referring to her struggles with eating disorders. And I also think it is her way of saying, hey, I may be a celebrity and I have all this money and my life may seem so cool and stuff, but I'm still struggling with these issues like millions and millions of other people do, and millions of other young women as well. And she kind of ends the song with, I'm a 10 out of 10, even when I forget, almost wrapping up the song in a way of saying, hey, I have all these issues, I have these insecurities, but I still love myself and I'm learning and I'm really confident with who I am and who I'm becoming. So that is probably my favorite song out of all the ones she has. It has such a great message. And again, another reason I admire her and she's a role model for me. As a young woman, it gives me confidence because, I struggle with stuff similar to her and so many other millions of people around the world. Next one on the list here, we have Anyone. This is a very, very raw song. I believe we talked about it before when I talked about sad songs. It is kind of a song about Demi's struggle with addiction, going back and forth about, is anyone listening to me? I mean, does anyone actually care about my issues or do they want me to be clean? Its song is kind of about that middleman of struggling with addiction. In the the withdrawal period almost. And so it is very raw and you could almost say heartfelt, with her singing about, is anyone listening to me when I'm praying? Is anyone listening? Does anyone really care? Or do they just, want to see me when I'm better? They don't want to see the ugly truth of, withdrawals when it comes to addiction and stuff like that. Or at least that's kind of a big part of what I get from the song. So it's really raw and it's awesome and it's a great song and you can really hear her voice so beautifully in it. Next one on the list here is Made in the USA. This is off her Neon Lights album. It is a different song compared to the last two we just talked about. This one is just kind of talked about to a partner of hers and they're in love and it's going to last. And one of the things she says, love runs deep like a Chevy. And I just recently understood the meanings behind this song. Well, one of the meanings or the references you could say. Talking about the love's going to last because it's made in the USA. And she's almost referring to stuff that is maybe made in other countries doesn't last as long because it's maybe cheaper or not made as well. But stuff that's made in the US is going to last because it's made better. That's kind of what she's referring to. Hence the love runs deep like a Chevy. Chevys are made, they're American cars. But it took me a long time to understand the meaning of the song. I mean, it came out, I want to say 2013 or 14. And I kid you not, I really was just laying in bed a few weeks ago and I saw something Made in the USA and it got the song stuck in my head and then it clicked like a light bulb. I know everyone has those moments where they finally get a joke or they realize something and they're like, oh my God. I had one of those moments and then I ran to my boyfriend to tell him about it and then he kind of made fun of me for it. But, I was proud of myself for finally getting it. Next song on the list here is This Is Me. This is off her camp rock first movie. And, even though some people would say, oh, it's not really one of her songs, she sings it, and it's one of my favorites is her. It is, in context of the movie, but she is singing about, oh, this is me, this is who I am, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and it's just a great song, Growing up, I really liked listening to it, and you could almost say it was inspirational, and she sings about, I found who I want to be and I'm going to be who I want to be. So it's very inspirational, even though you could say it's almost childlike. I love it. Next one on the list here, we have Sorry, Not Sorry. I really like this song because it is all about confidence. It is, Demi Lovato saying, sorry, not sorry, I'm really confident and I'm feeling myself and I'm feeling great. I'm not going to apologize to you or anyone else for it. And, it's just awesome. You should not apologize to anyone because you were confident in your abilities or how you look or anything like that. Now, there's definitely a difference between being cocky and confident, but you should never have to apologize for being confident. And it's not a bad thing to have. Confidence is very, very important. Last song on the list here that I'm going to mention is the song Sober. This is a song that Demi Lovato wrote when she relapsed after, I think she was 6 years sober. And she basically talks about, I'm not sober anymore. And, she's sorry. And she's sorry to everybody, her fans, her family, stuff like that. One of the lines in it that really kind of tugs on my heartstrings, she's like, oh, Daddy, sorry for the wine I spilled on the carpet. And she says floor. But it's just, again, a very raw song, just like the song Anyone. And it shows I shouldn't say a different side of her, but it just shows a real side, again, of, the struggle she has with addiction. And, she is just, I think, such a good person to stand up and say, hey, I'm struggling with such real stuff. And despite the fact that I'm a celebrity, I've had this many issues this many times, and it's not something you fix overnight. And she is so talented, and she stands up for so many things with mental health and anti-bullying and everything else. I mean, she really is awesome. And if you don't really listen to music, I would definitely recommend checking it out. After we come back, we're going to talk about feel-good songs. I know everyone has their own ones. I'm going to tell you guys the ones that come to mind when I just need a song that's going to make me feel good. Also, don't forget, later on, we're going to talk about the Now That's What I Call music series, The Current Volume.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Let's transition to feel-good songs. Now, when I say feel-good songs, these are really just any songs that you hear them, and they just make you feel good. They make you happy. They're kind of lighthearted a little bit. Some of them are, heartfelt almost, and it just makes you, it doesn't make you sad. I'm sure everyone hears some songs and like, wow, that song was very, very sad. Now I'm sad. Or it gets you think about sad stuff and stuff like that. Or, you'll hear inspirational songs and, then you'll get inspired and then you're making a 5-year plan and a bucket list and it just gets you thinking too much. These songs I have on this list here just feel good songs that make you feel good and just, can relax, kind of, almost stuff like that. First one I have on the list here is Can't Stop This Feeling by Justin Timberlake. I know some of you probably hate the song. It's been overplayed a lot and you're tired of hearing about it and whatnot, or tired of hearing it in general, but it is a feel-good song. Come on, you have to admit it. I mean, the song is basically talking about you can't stop the feeling of having a good feeling. I mean, it's just really happy-go-lucky. I mean, I know it's been played a lot. It's from a kids movie, and it can be repetitive and annoying. But I mean, you gotta like it. It makes you feel good. It's just, you don't gotta sit there and think about some heavy meaning behind it or anything like that. You can just be happy while listening to it. Next one on the list here, we have Happy by Pharrell Williams. I have to admit, when I first heard this song, and about 200 times after I first heard this song, I wanted to rip my ears off. It was played way too much at one point. I'm glad it's finally slowed down and we don't hear it and have it bashed into our skulls as much as it was, but it's a happy song, and it is a feel-good song. I mean, again, it's just another song about being happy. It makes you feel good. I mean, it's from the Minions movie. I mean, who doesn't love the Minions movie? I don't really like cartoon or animated movies or shows that much anymore since I've gotten older, but I really like it. The Minions movies are so cute. I mean, they're adorable. I mean, the Minions are cute. When they're singing the Happy, it's even better. The Happy by Pharrell Williams is such a feel-good song, you gotta admit it. Next, we got Body by Megan Thee Stallion, aka Meg Thee Stallion. She is a wonderful, talented person, and her song Body is about, well, feeling confident, and that's a feel-good song because you want to feel good in your own skin, right? And the song kind of reminds you to do it. So that's the reason I have it on the list here. If you're maybe feeling down about yourself, you can hear this, you're like, you just sing it, and you're like, yeah, I feel good. Fake it till you make it kind of stuff sometimes, and you could do it with the song if you're not already feeling yourself. The next one we have on the list here is I Love Rock and Roll by Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. I think this is a feel-good song because even though it is not from my generation, when I hear it, I'll see a lot of other people who are older feel in touch and happy that they can, they're hearing a song more from their time and stuff, and so it makes them happy, so it kind of makes me feel good. I don't know if that's maybe a selfless act. By the way, I also really like the song. I mean, it's really just a song about how they love rock and roll and, play more songs on the jukebox. It's a feel-good song, lighthearted, just talking about love and music. So it's always a good go-to. And Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts are very, very talented. Great rock song voices. But really just a feel-good song. Next one on the list here is called Feel Good by Griffin, Elenium, and Daya. The song Feel Good is in it, and it's a feel-good song as well. It's kind of a love song, gotta admit. Just talking about, oh, you make me feel good when we're together, I love being with you, and that kind of stuff. Very cheesy, but I think I have it on here as a feel-good song because it's kind of EDM music, has a lot of EDM tones to it, so there's a decent amount of instrumental to it, and I think instrumental can make people feel good by just the sound of the sound of the music and, the instruments and whatnot, so it's one reason I have it on the list here, and it is pretty lighthearted as well. I mean, it is, kind of a love song, but the sounds make it almost lighthearted and off your shoulders kind of experience when listening to it. So definitely a feel-good song for that. Next one I got here is Kings and Queens by Ava Max. I think this is a feel-good song because it's a real women empowerment song. And as a young woman, I always love some good, female empowerment. This song is, kind of talking about if all of the kings had their queens by the throne, everything would be perfect, they'd rule the world, and that kind of stuff. Basically saying you need a good woman to fix things. It's kind of where the song is going. This also has a really good off your shoulders kind of feeling, weight lifted off your shoulders when listening to it. It has a lot of good sounds to it, a lot of instrumental. I shouldn't say a lot of instrumental, a decent amount of instrumental to it that makes you feel good when listening to it. And it just kind of makes you happy and feel good when you're listening to it. Or at least that's how it makes me feel. Again, this is a list of songs that kind of make me feel good, and I think may make a general amount of people feel good. So if it doesn't make you feel good, my apologies. Next song on the list here, we got Something Big by Shawn Mendes. This is one of Shawn Mendes' earlier songs in his career. this song is basically about if he feels that something big is coming, something cool's going to happen, almost kind of inspirational, stuff like that. I think it is a feel-good song because it is, just very upbeat, a lot of good instruments, guitar, drums, stuff like that in the background. And it's really upbeat and fast. And Shawn Mendes has such a good voice. So it just, everything plays together very well that it makes you feel good, or makes me feel good when I'm listening to it. Next song on the list here is Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. I have this on the list for almost a similar reason that I have I Love Rock and Roll by Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. I do like this song, but the times I've heard it, it's been around somewhat older people, where the song is from their generation, and they seem to be very happy that they're hearing a song that has almost a nostalgic feeling to it from, their younger years and that time where they really had a lot of fun. Not that they're not having fun now or anything like that, but so seeing how, how it makes other people feel good makes me feel good as well. So, kind of funny story about this song is about, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago, I found out that they were saying pour some sugar on me because my boyfriend's stepdad was cleaning the house and he had music on in the background on the TV, and I think it was like Amazon Music or something, and they had the lyrics going by and it said pour some sugar on me, and I was like, those are the lyrics? I was absolutely blown away. I can't remember what I even thought the lyrics were beforehand now, but I just remember hearing it, I remember seeing the lyrics, then hearing it, and it all clicked. I don't know if that ever happens to anyone. They'll think a song is singing one thing, and then they'll see the actual lyrics, and they hear it again, and they're like, oh, another kind of light bulb moment. Yeah, that's what happened with me here. I can't remember off the top of my head right now what I thought they were saying, but I don't know. It was not pour some sugar on me. I really had no idea what I thought it was, but it wasn't that. So, a little embarrassing, but you learn something new every day. Next, we got Magic in the Hamptons by Social House featuring Lil Yachty. Love Lil Yachty, love Social House. I think we've talked about this song before. I have this on the feel-good list here because it's a little lighthearted and just fun to listen to. It's about, just two people saying out they want to take their partner out to the Hamptons, have a good time, relax, and just party with their friends and feel good. And I think it's a feel-good song because, it's just singing about having a good time, and that can make you feel good, right? Just kind of relaxing with the people you love to hang out with and, have a good time and feel good. So next one on the list here is Wannabe by the Spice Girls. This has fallen into the same category as Pour Some Sugar on Me and I Love Rock and Roll. It is not from my time, but I think it brings a good feeling to people around me when they hear it because it is from their time. And it's really, really catchy, and it also just does make me feel good when I hear it. I mean, it's just so, it is catchy. I when they're all singing together, and it is kind of a cheesy topic, but it's awesome. And it's lighthearted, right? That you don't got to sit there and you think, and it doesn't have this huge meaning behind it. It's just kind of a feel-good song, put you in a good mood, upbeat type thing. Next one, we got Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha Bettingfield. If you were not expecting me to say this song when I mentioned we were talking about feel-good songs, well, I don't know what you were thinking. This is like one of the top feel-good songs. It's like she's just singing about she's got a pocket full of sunshine and she's just happy and just all literally rainbow and sunshines and flowers. Like, that is exactly what the song is about. And this is like almost the definition of feel-good songs. I mean, Pocket Full of Sunshine is, I don't want to call it cheesy, but is almost cookie cutter as the song may be. It is definitely a feel-good song. I mean, she's literally just singing about being happy and, she's jumping for joy and stuff like that. It is a great feel-good song. There's not really much meaning behind it, so it is just a really good one. Next song on the list here is Mom by Meghan Trainor. If you couldn't already guess, this song is about Meghan Trainor's mom. It is just a song about singing about how much she loves her mom and she's awesome. There is even a cute, a little, I guess you'd say, an excerpt or part of the song where it's a clip of her calling her mom and just saying how much she loves her. And this is a feel-good song because obviously it's just a song about loving your mom, and that is just a feel-good thing. It's really down to earth and awesome. So that is a feel-good song. Next song we have is Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves. This is another song that if you are not expecting to say, what do you think of when you think of feel-good songs? I mean, this is very similar to Pocket Full of Sunshine. They are walking on sunshine and it feels really good, meaning they just feel really happy. And I mean, it's just awesome stuff. Like a feel-good song, especially there's not any huge, deep-rooted meaning behind it. It doesn't really make you think. It's all really upbeat. There's some good jazz instruments in the song as well. It is really just almost definition, just like Pocket Full of Sunshine, of feel-good songs. And I've seen it in so many movies at this point that with the happy montages that it's played with, even if I didn't want to, I would have to associate it with feel-good songs at this point. Next one on the list, we got Best Day of My Life by American Authors. American Authors in this song were almost a one-hit wonder, unfortunately, but this is a great song. It is about the best day of my life. It is almost, you would say, it's kind of inspirational. The song is just singing about, this is going to be the best day of my life. I got this big thing going on. I'm really confident and happy about it, and it's going to go great. And it's a feel-good song because you like to hear people singing about being happy and confidence and have a good time. And, unfortunately, I think misery, the whole term misery loves company, misery can almost be more contagious, but, with this kind of song and Walking on Sunshine and a few of the other ones, the happiness and the feel-good is almost contagious, and I think that's kind of what they're going for in this with the best day of my life. They want it to almost be contagious, that they feel so great. They want everyone listening to the song to feel really great as well. Next, we got Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. This is a classic song here, and I'm sure everyone was forced to sing it in chorus at one point. I know I was, and if you weren't, I almost want to say I'm jealous of you, but I do like the song, so it wasn't that horrible to sing. But this is a feel-good song, inspirational, kind of too, talking about don't stop believing, about anything. I think it's a feel-good song because it is a classic. Classic songs often are feel-good songs because, as we kind of mentioned before, nostalgia. Even if it is not, this is not my generation of the song. I was not around when I was not born when the song was around or came out, but I almost can feel the weight and the history the song holds when I'm listening to it. Much like, Wannabe by Spice Girls, I Love Rock and Roll, and Pour Some Sugar on Me, those kind of songs. I can really feel how much history is connected to the song. And seeing a song that has, been around for so long, and even so many people of younger generations know it, I think that, has a good feeling to it because it shows that music does not die. Some of it does, unfortunately, but great music does not die. So that's why I have it on here for the feel-good list. Next song we got on here is Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. I'm sure a lot of you probably hate the song because it was overplayed a lot, but I really like it. As we've mentioned before, I like Taylor Swift. And this song is just about, Taylor Swift is saying, like, oh, people say I date too much. People say they don't like my songs. They don't like my voice. And she's just like, I shake it off. And I think that's a good feeling, just to kind of hear someone else talking about, oh, I'm just going to shake this off and I'm going to be happy. And that makes you feel good because I think people, want to hear about other people being happy and seeing it happen. As much as, the news is always engulfed with negative things, seeing happy stuff makes other people happy. And that's kind of, what Shake It Off is about, just seeing someone be happy despite what other people are saying. So Last song on the list here, we have Dancing Queen by ABBA. I think this is a feel-good song, mostly because when I hear it, I associate it with where I originally heard it, which was in Mamma Mia. So I know, ABBA is so popular, but I had just heard it from Mamma Mia. But this is a feel-good song because, in the movie it has such nice scenes to it and great choreography. So, I mean, it's really just such a great feel-good song with all the choreography around it and just the singing with it and all the instruments. It's very lighthearted and makes you feel good. So these are my feel-good songs. I mean, I have plenty more. I would love to hear what your guys' feel-good songs are. I know everyone kind of differs, and I think some are pretty generic as well when we think about them. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the Now That's What I Call Music series and their latest volume. A music series I learned a decent amount about that I thought they didn't have as much interesting things about them that I thought. We will be right back.
Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blanks and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Okay, everybody, let's get into the series Now That's What I Call Music. I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of this before. It is a musical series. They sell CDs. You can also stream it and download it. It is an album compilation of the most popular songs in a time period. It's usually within I believe, 3 to 5 month time period. It has between 15 to 25 tracks of music, and it is just what is most popular in that time. We're going to talk about the current volume, which is volume 78. It just got released on April 30th, so just a few days ago. I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was little, I had one of the volumes. I want to say it was 16 or 17. And it was a present to me, and I remember Rihanna's Don't Stop the Music was on there, and I don't really remember any of the other songs, but it was in the teens, I believe, the number. And I don't know if anyone else feels old, but I'll be walking through, the stores nowadays, and I'll see it's Now That's What I Call Music. I remember, I think I saw 50, and I was like, 50? I was like, how old am I? I mean, I'm only 21, but it made me feel really old. I thought they only released one a year. No, they go through them a lot faster, apparently. But it is a pretty big, I'd say, thing. I mean, the series, it is, I believe, the first, series like that. It was actually originated in the United Kingdom and Ireland by Sony Music. It began in 1983, and it didn't get into the United States until 1998. I think they were maybe on, I don't even know what number they were on at that point, but it, one of the first like it, and Sony Music having that thing under their belt is awesome. Sony Music is a really big company. Sony in general, huge company. I know you guys, along with myself, were wondering where the name came from. The name comes from a 1920s ad poster. It was for bacon, And it is a pig looking at a chicken singing, and the pig is saying, "No, that's what I call music." That is very, very interesting. I would have never guessed that's where the name came from. And I would really love to know the background on the bacon poster and chicken singing and what the chicken was singing. But you learn something new every day and you get surprised every day. So I think that's a funny story as to where the name came from. Personally, I just thought the name came from, I don't know, since it's a series about popular music and the time frame that they were just saying, oh, it's such popular music and that's what you would call music. Kind of like people like, oh, now that's what I call good food after they have good meal or something like that. I didn't think it would have this kind of story behind it. But, very, very interesting. I didn't know that the name is often shortened to now with an exclamation point instead of saying now that's what I call music. It's shortened to now with an exclamation point often, especially for the workers and all kinds of other publicity reasons. In 2019, they made a list of the most featured artists, with those people being Robbie Williams, Calvin Harris, David Guetta, Rihanna, Kylie Minogue, and Katy Perry, and then obviously everyone else as follows, but these are the top ones that were featured the most out of, the different volumes. I'm not surprised to see Calvin Harris or David Guetta on those tracks, or not on those tracks, on that list there. The both of them, considering they make so many different sounds and they work primarily more as DJs, they create so many different songs or so many different popular artists, such as, Rihanna and Katy Perry and so many other people, that it just makes sense that they're on there because, if you're creating tracks for multiple people to sing, the more likely you are to be on the volumes more often. So not a surprise there at all. Like I said, they are currently on volume number 78. It makes me feel very, very old. I didn't think they moved that fast. I thought they released the album like once a year or something. They released them a lot faster than that. Something interesting, I kind of found out was they don't just put pop music on there. It may seem like that, but there is no kind of genre discrimination. It is whatever is popular in that, time frame that gets chosen to be put on the volume. According to Thrillist.com, an interview with one of the people that really is in charge of putting together the songs for each volume, they said if it's a hit, it's a hit, it's going on there. I thought that was interesting. They look at multiple charts and they look at different streaming data, and they also look at, who has a big social media following right now, who has a lot of, video views right now, and what songs and artists are reaching, a audience on a very broad cultural level. Almost as all kinds of factors they look at when deciding what songs to choose from. And I really just thought they chose pop songs. And like I said, there is no genre discrimination. In this Thrillist article on Thrillist.com, the person was mentioning that, they'll put a heavy metal rock song on there if it's popular at the time and it's a hit. They're not, just doing pop songs. They have put country songs on there in the past, and they've put other genres on there. I'd say the majority of them are pop and pop rock. I mean, pop is called pop for a reason, popular. It has taken on its own sound at this point. It's not just short to pop. But I'd say pop music runs the industry for sure. I mean, when you think of songs that are played on the radio and songs that are played in public and all that kind of stuff, I'd say 7 to 8 times out of 10, it's going to be pop music. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've mentioned before, I really love pop music, as basic as some people may call it. It is what it is. It's my favorite, and it's just what I like. I can't control what I like. So because, pop music being so popular, I think the majority of the, the genre is usually pop for the albums, but they have had country in the past, they have rap on there, and they have some soul on there as well. So I think it's really awesome that they have this kind of a compilation. I have trouble saying that word. And I know it's nothing new. As I mentioned before, they started out in 83 and they got to the United States in 98. And I've known about it for years. It's just, I didn't, really put much thought into the idea of, the songs and everything and how cool of an idea it is. I mean, yeah, you could say the Grammys and the VMAs and the Billboard Music Awards, the American Music Awards, those are times where you could say the most popular music of that time frame is, you could say, put together and acknowledged, but I think this idea is really, really intelligent. And again, I know it's not new or anything, but it's almost new because this is the most thought I've ever put into it. I almost used to think the idea was weird. Again, when I got the album, I was like, why are there so many different songs from so many different artists on there? You usually, you're used to buying an album or whatever, and it's one artist, and maybe there'll be a few other artists for features or something like that. But you're not used to having so many different artists. So I thought that was a little different from what I was used to when I was a kid. But just thinking about it now, it's a really, really cool idea, right? To take the most popular songs in maybe a month or two and put them on a CD. I mean, I think it'll be a great thing for, even since it started in 98, I could listen to the albums from 98 until about 2005, before I really had any memories of anything. And I can remember what was popular then because I wasn't around to remember, or I was around, but I did remember it. I think my first memory was when I was 4 or something like that. You get my point. But I think it'll be awesome for, I don't know when they plan on stopping or if they ever will, but even younger kids now, my boyfriend's little sister, she just turned 11. So some of the most songs that I think of that define the 2000s, she wasn't even alive for. So it would be cool to, give her an album from 2006 or 2007. And I think it would give her an idea of the kind of music that was popular in that time frame. I think it's a really cool idea. And as I get older, if I have kids, I could, I don't think I have the album anymore, but I could buy a few to start stacking up and give them to my kids and say, hey, this really was what was popular, when I was this age and that age and, this year, because it truly is, they're putting hits on it. They're not just taking anything. Like the person mentioned, if it's a hit and people like it, it's going on there. It doesn't really matter what I think. There's not really any bias to it or anything like that. If it's doing well and it's, again, a hit, it's going to be on the album. So I think it's such a great, cool concept that I really just recently opened my eyes up to. I know it's been around for so long, but I've really just kind of put some thought into it and realized how great it is. Let's talk about the newest volume, volume 78, which again came out on April 30th, just a few days ago. There is, I believe, 25 tracks on there, and we're going to talk about a few of the ones on here that I'm really not surprised that they're on here at all, and I believe are defining very popular songs right now. First one on here is the first track on the album. It is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. We have talked about the song many times. You have heard the song many times. You've heard about the song millions of times at this point. You might be tired of it, but I would definitely say this is a song that is kind of defying this time frame right now. I don't think anyone could deny it is a hit. It was breaking records with how long it stayed at number one, how much it was being streamed. Definitely defying, time right now. I like it. I do. We've talked about it before. I really like it. I think Olivia Rodrigo has a great voice, and I think it is a unique idea for a song to sing about a breakup song, for sure. At number 2 on the album, we got Lonely by Justin Bieber. Well, you guys know I'm a huge believer at this point. Unfortunately, I don't like the song Lonely that much. I know if you're a hardcore believer and you're listening to this, you're probably like, what are you talking about? And what I don't like about the song is the chorus. I think they could have chose a better chorus for it. he sounds great, and the song is about a great thing. I mean, it's about how much he struggled in the beginning of his career and how much pressure was put on him. And I love the meaning behind it, but I don't exactly like the chorus that much. But it is a popular song for sure. I mean, it was in a commercial. I want to say it was a Sprite commercial. I can't remember exactly, but it was in a commercial. And it was a big song. Benny Blanco was in it. And it was being played a lot and given a lot of airplay as well. So it definitely defining a time of popular music. Next, at number 4 on the album, we got 34 plus 35 by Ariana Grande. Love Ariana Grande. I mentioned before, I like the remix to this song better than the original, but this is still a very, very popular song that has been played a lot. I definitely think it is defying, time, and it's 100,000,000% a hit right now. So it's not a surprise to see it on here at all. At number 7, we have Save Your Tears by The Weeknd. I know nobody is surprised hearing this. The Weeknd, as we've talked about many times, is breaking so many records with Billboard and the music industry and so many other things, especially with the song Blinding Lights and Save Your Tears. Those two songs are making phenomenal headway for over a year now, and for months now, Save Your Tears. It is amazing, and a song that is definitely not only defying, music right now, but the sound is representing a generation. So I'm not surprised at all to see it on here, and he definitely deserves to be on here because, this is a compilation of hits, and that is a hit. Number 12, we have My Ex's Best Friend by Machine Gun Kelly. I really like this song, as we talked about before. I'm a huge Machine Gun Kelly fan, and I really like this one. Black Bear is in it. I'm a little surprised that it is on this because I don't know if I'd call it a hit. At least I haven't heard it as much as I've heard Driver's License or Lonely or Save Your Tears or any of the other songs I mentioned. So I think it's great. I don't think it shouldn't be on here. It's just I'm a little surprised because I don't think is played as much as some of the other ones. But as we mentioned before, one of the ways the songs are determined if they get on the list or not is by streaming data, and the song has definitely had a lot of streaming data from TikTok. I think it's been very, very popular on TikTok, so therefore getting a lot of streams. So that's probably a good reason it's on here. Number 13 on the album, we got Without You by Kid Levroy. Yeah, not surprised to see this song on here at all. Huge hit, very popular, great song. Kid Levroy, very, very talented. This is a song that is 100% defying, a time with music right now. It is a huge hit. I mean, I'm not going to say the line, but you guys all know the famous line from it. And it became a monumental hit on TikTok as well, and still is. So I'm not surprised at all by that. I'm very happy for him. And he just came out with I believe, a remix for the song with Miley Cyrus that I haven't gotten a chance to listen to yet, but I am very, very excited to hear. I love the song, and again, not surprised that it's on the list at all because it is 100% a huge hit. Now That's What I Call Music is officially making me feel so old with volume 78. When it hits volume 100, I think I might cry. I probably won't be that old by then because of how fast they knock these out, but still it's going to make me feel really, 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 really old. I mean, it just will. Today, we, talked about a lot of things. I hope everyone thinks about some feel-good songs or, Demi Lovato, or maybe you go check out Austin Mahone. Let me know what your feel-good songs are, because I'm curious as to what everyone has, because I guess everyone has different things that make them feel good. Thank you guys so much for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'd like to ask you all to please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. It really helps us out. Again, let me know what your favorite feel-good songs are. Also, give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, please, so we can keep you guys updated, and you can always listen to the best content and entertainment that you can. We will see you guys next time. Stay healthy.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.